Hey everybody, John Pynakker with the Mojave Valley Daily News. Welcome into the huddle. I'm here with Matt Curtis. How you doing, brother?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Matt is all right. So let's break it down. What we're going to be doing every week. Well, I guess I could say Matt and I, because every other week it's going to be Matt Curtis, and the other week it's going to be Matt Hanrahan from Baron Pest is going to be in here, and we're going to be discussing the NFL games for the upcoming week. We are always going to cover the Cardinals. And if you didn't know, Matt used to play with the Raiders. We're always going to cover the Raiders. We've got a big Raiders following, and they're only a couple hours away, so we're always going to cover them. The other games, we're going to probably pick out another 8 or 9 best games. Matt's going to give his picks on every game, but we're going to discuss the other 8 or 9 games. So let me give you a couple things. We're going to drop it every day, every Thursday at 4 o'clock. We are filming this one a little bit ahead of time because I'm going to be gone from the 2nd to the 9th, so I'm going to miss the opening day. So we're going to film this. We're filming this actually a little bit ahead of time. It's sponsored by Anderson Ford of Bullhead City, and we really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We certainly will take your picks in the comments if you want to put them in there. Also, this is done in conjunction with an ad. Because we're shooting this ahead of time, I don't know what the games are going to be, but we're going to have an ad in the paper. You fill out, we're going to have 1 or 2 games in there. You pick your games. You drop it off at Anderson, or you can drop it off here at the newspaper. We're going to tabulate those. At the end of the year, we have 3 serious prizes that are going to be pretty sweet. You're going to like it. So first, second, and third, go from there. So check out the rules in the ad in the newspaper. And then make sure you get in before Thursday. I think it's Thursday at 3 o'clock. You have to drop off your entry. So, you ready to get into this?
Let's do it.
All right. So, we are now done with the shortened preseason. As somebody that played professionally, how do you feel about going from 4 down to 3?
For the health of the players, it's probably a good thing. It kind of almost shortens camp a little bit. So the guys who were kind of on that verge of getting an opportunity to make it to the big show or not, you are cutting down one more opportunity to be seen. But for the starters and the guys that are in the mix already, it's shortening it down, giving them a little bit less of an opportunity to pull any kind of injuries. As you saw this past week in week 3, we had a couple of starters
Dobbins
throughout.
Went out.
Yeah.
So I'm a Packer fan, and I was upset that through the whole preseason we haven't seen Aaron Rodgers, we haven't seen Devontae Adams, we haven't seen a lot of our stars, and then you see J.K. Dobbins go down, and you're like, I'm good.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'm fine.
No, believe me, the Raider fans are the same way. All over the pages and the forums, everyone was saying the same thing. Carr hasn't played, Waller hasn't played, Renfro and Jacobs haven't gotten any play time. How are they going to make a decision between Drake and Jacobs? I don't think there's a decision to be made.
Absolutely.
These guys are going to be splitting time. But, a lot of people were complaining about it, and after you see what happened yesterday, I think a lot of people are okay with it now that these guys weren't out there beating themselves up.
You know what? I am a huge Jacobs fan, and Darren Waller, both. But we'll get to them in a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
So let's start out. First one we're going to cover right away is Buccaneers Cowboys. You have the world champion Buccaneers going against the Cowboys with Dak back. We know that Cam Newton was cut. When this airs, I don't know if he's with somebody, but as of right now, they're talking about possibly.
As of right now, he's not as of today, but I know tomorrow he is supposed to be meeting with Dallas.
That's kind of an interesting thing. So what do you think? I mean, is Dak ready? We haven't seen him yet in the preseason. We haven't seen him in the preseason at all.
Right.
He's missed almost a whole year.
Right.
Going up against the world champs.
A big part of that is going to be, physically, I'm sure he's in a great spot. He's been working out. He's been doing all that. A lot of it is, you've been off for a year.
Yeah.
Are you ready mentally to come back to game time? Game time speed. The majority of the stuff you see during practice is half speed, 3/4 speed. Are you ready to come back to game time speed? I'm sure the guy is, specimen of an athlete.
Sure.
But taking that much time off, are you ready to come back? And are you ready to come back against the Super Bowl champs?
Yeah, and let's talk about that. Every starter is returning for Tampa Bay.
Right.
That since free agency started, that doesn't happen.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
Usually a team wins a Super Bowl, they know they have great trade bait. they can move some players around, whether it's for draft picks or throughout the season to kind of give them a strength either on offense or defense. You've got that ability. They really didn't get rid of anybody.
And I'm a world champion now, so I think that I should be paid better to go somewhere else. And so
Absolutely.
you get that as well. So that happens. All right, so who do you got?
This one here, I think it comes down to whether or not Dak is ready to go, but I would go with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think that, to me, that seems pretty easy, is that you got a unit that's worked together, and as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to be the most talented, but if you spend some time working together, like we see in the NBA, in the Olympics, you have teams that are nowhere near as talented as we are, but they've been playing, these same 10 guys have been playing together for 3 years.
Right.
I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you got the Buccaneers, and I agree with you. All right, next up, Chargers at Washington. Jeff's a Chargers fan, by the way. I know that you're okay.
We won't hold that against them.
Yeah, I know that you're a Raiders
Oh,
fan.
come on, man.
All right, so Justin Herbert, his second year, he certainly looked good last year. We don't really know what's going to be going on with Washington. The Chargers defense, you got Joey Bosa on one side, and you got Chase Young on the other side. That's a pretty healthy battle. That division, your division, seems pretty wide open for somebody that wants to step up. Washington, I don't know. How did you feel about Washington last year? Were they just the best of a mediocre division?
I think they were, top of a mediocre division. There wasn't a whole lot of talent in the division, and the cream rose to the top there. Did they have a lot of talent? I don't know. I think this is going to be kind of their season to really tell. You've got McLaurin over there. Which I think he's kind of the sleeper this year. It's funny. I've been doing a couple fantasy drafts, and you keep seeing McLaurin kind of sneak to the top higher and higher every week, as the receiver choice for Washington. And with Fitzpatrick over there, when that guy's on, he's on. He's could be one of the great quarterbacks when he's on his game. So, you partner him up with McLaurin, and then you've got, Curtis Samuel.
They have some talent for sure, 100%. And then on the other side, you have that freak Chase Young. I'd be more worried about the health of Justin Herbert coming out of this thing than anything else, because he's a man for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, you got a pick?
This one here, I know the favorite is the Chargers, but I'm going against them, and not just because they're Jeff's team over there, but I'm going Washington 24, Chargers 17.
All right. You heard it there, 24-17. All right, next up, this might be the best game of the week. It depends on if you believe the hype.
Yep.
Steelers at Bills. Now, the Bills look good in the preseason. They played against the Packers the last game, and they blanked them. But they went with number ones, and the Packers had reserves in that. But you know what? Josh Allen just really looks good.
He does.
Then you have the Steelers on the other side, and Roethlisberger at, what is he now, 72, 73, something like that? He looked sharp all preseason as well.
He
now,
did.
You have to balance that against who they're playing against as far as the 2s and 3s and all that. But to me, I think this is going to be a great game. I think the Bills are favored by 7 as of right now. To me, that seems ridiculous. I know we're not going against the spread, but
I agree. No, it seems really high. You've got, I think Najee Harris could be a breakout for the Steelers coming in, so he's going to really, really help out where, Ben's age is kicking in a little bit. The guy's still got one of the strongest arms. If you saw the game last week, he hit the tight end twice over the middle of the field in the end zone. Huge, and then the passing core that they have there with Claypool and Juju are great. But I really do. I think that Najee Harris could be the difference maker for the Steelers. And we all know, they didn't get their name from nowhere, but the Steel Curtain, that defense is ranked right now as one of the top defenses for 21.
Yeah, and they're subtly for sure. And then you have somebody like Najee Harris. If he's playing well, that takes a lot of pressure off of Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
And when you have 2 burners on the outside opening it up for that tight end, you don't have to be Gronk or Travis Kelce or somebody.
Right.
That really opens it up. So, but on the other side, you have Josh Allen.
You do.
Josh Allen was sharp. It was his first time that he's played. That whole first drive and part of the first half of the second drive, he didn't miss anybody, and the ball never hit the ground. He was pretty tight. So,
gotcha.
Are you thinking 7 points is legit?
No, I'm actually. This is my game that I'm looking at is the upset of the week.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
You got the Steelers.
I think the Steelers are going to come out on top in this one, 20-17.
Where is it at? Is it at? It's at the Bills too.
It's at Bills. Yep.
Well, yeah, but it's not December in Buffalo.
No.
It's August in Buffalo, September in Buffalo. So
yeah, I'm looking for the upset there.
all right, so go down and throw the mortgage on the Steelers to cover. All right, this is kind of interesting. This is a 1-point game according to the experts. Seahawks at Colts. This to me. They call it a toss-up. I think it's a toss-up too. I think it all depends on what happens with Carson Wentz. I know that they said that he's ready to go as of a few days ago, but
right.
That can always change. And I just never know what to expect from Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
The Seahawk defense isn't what it used to be, but I don't think it needs to be against the Colts.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
No, I agree. I think this is probably one of those toss-up games. If Russell Wilson is on his game and he's mobile like he is, I think it could be could go Seahawks' way. Do I think this is going to be one of those blowout games? No, I think it's probably going to stay pretty tight all the way through. But I would give it to the Seahawks.
Yeah, but are you giving it to the Seahawks because the Seahawks have a reputation of year after year being a better team than the Colts, and the Colts, lost Rivers, and now they have Wentz and is another one, the wide receiver, T.Y. Hilton was hurt.
Yeah.
So is he going to be playing and all that? I mean, are we doing it on reputation? Or
no, I'm doing it on, I think one of the things right now is kind of what you just referred to with the basketball team playing together. I think right now the Colts have a lot of unknowns. They've got a lot of people that are coming in that are kind of new pieces to the puzzle that they're trying to see exactly where they fit, whereas in Seattle, you still have some of your key players that have been there playing together for a few years, that they do have a little bit more of the rapport. I think there's a little bit more of a culture there in Seattle. The coaching has been pretty consistent.
Sure. So there's a lot of leadership there between the coaching and Russell Wilson.
Right.
You got some studs on defense that have been able to bring these people along the way we do things. So, yeah, okay, I can see that. All right, the greatest team of all time, the Green Bay Packers, are traveling down to, as of right now, New Orleans. But reading this morning, they could end up going somewhere else. They with the hurricane coming through, they're still having some issues down there. So we don't know. Why don't you start this one? Give me your thoughts, and then I'll.
The biggest key to this game, I think, right now is going to be Thomas. Is Thomas in or is Thomas out? Yeah. I think that's going to be one of the deciding factors of the game. Regardless, though, right now, I think that the Packers have the consistency. The Packers have a lot more consistency with who's on the team, who's playing on the team, just what Rodgers brings to that team, the leadership. I mean, let's be realistic. We watched games over the past 2 years where you think these guys are out of it, and he'll throw a 65-yard bomb to the end zone and come back and win it, doing it twice in a row.
I call game.
Yeah. So, I mean, Rodgers right now, I just think, he's on a different level as far as what the quarterbacks are. I think there's still a lot of indecision within the Saints organization right now as to who's going to play, who's throwing the ball. But my key factor is if Michael Thomas is out, you're struggling.
If he's out, it's over.
Yeah.
I have to agree. The thing that concerns me about this is that every year the Packers, Aaron Rodgers will play a little bit in the second game, a little bit more in the third game, none in the fourth, talking about the preseason.
Right. And
then come into the season, and it always seems to be a little bit of rust. This year, the game the other day, they had 31, so every starter on both sides of the ball and some of the number twos, none of them even suited up for the game.
Right.
And I just worry about the rust going in. the way I understand it, Jameis is going to be the starter. Jameis Winston's going to be the starter.
Yeah.
Jameis is 50-50 on which jersey he's going to throw it to.
Yeah.
Or at least he has been in the past. He's looked pretty good in the preseason, but again, who are you going up against? So that's the thing to me. The Packers their run defense has gotten better. I'm not 100% convinced on their pass defense, so I think that they'll be okay with Alvin Kamara, but Michael Thomas is a different animal too.
One of the things there, coming from a defensive background, I think that if Thomas isn't in the game, now Packers can focus a lot more of their attention on Kamara.
Yeah.
And then when you flip over to Packers on the offense of the ball, between Adams and Jones, I mean, you've got two of the top guys in the league right now, let's be honest, and look who you've got throwing the ball or handing the ball off to them. So, I think that's going to be key. If the Packers defense is going to be able to basically hone in and focus on Kamara, they should be able to play some more shutdown, and then you're going to have to see who on that Saints team is going to be able to step up and be the receiver, who's going to be the number 2.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. You pick the Packers.
I'm picking the Packers on this one. I would say we're probably looking 34-19.
All right, I'm going to go 99 to -2.
Safety. I like it.
All right. 49ers and Lions. Good Lord. We've got some Lions fans in here, and every year it's the same thing. Yeah.
This is our year.
Yeah, we got Jared Goff now. This is going to be different.
Yeah.
Are things going to be any different for the Lions? It's the same old story, right?
I don't see it. They have too much inconsistency. They're constantly changing players. They don't give players an opportunity to develop and say, hey, this is going to be a build year and take us into next year. It's, hey, this didn't work. Let's, fire drill and fire everybody and bring in new players. We're always on the look for, who's going to be the next guy up. And you're going up against the 49ers. And let's be realistic, the 49ers had their great era a few years back, and then they weren't doing a whole lot. But the past year or two, these guys have started to build.
Starting to get better.
And, you got Garoppolo in there, you got Mostert in there, and you've got key players that can actually make things happen on the offense. And they've successfully been able to move the ball downfield, put it in the end zone.
All right, we haven't even started the season yet. How long do they keep Garoppolo, and how long before Trey Lance gets in there?
That's going to be a tough one. I think that sits in Garoppolo's hands. If he's productive, I think they'll run with him. If he's not productive and he makes mistakes like he's known to make,
absolutely,
the change is going to come. But I think that's basically they've given him enough rope to hang himself, and how long it takes is going to completely be up to him. When he gets pressured, he'll panic, and instead of throwing that ball out of bounds or just taking it and running, he'll try to hurl that thing down and squeeze the ball in where he shouldn't, and that's where those interceptions come in.
Right. So conversely, if Trey Lance gets under pressure, he takes off.
He'll take off.
Now, my concern, and let me ask you this as somebody that's been there, does it worry you at all that all of these smallish, fast quarterbacks, the Trey Lance and the going back, Michael Vick, those the kid over in Arizona, Kyler Murray, those kind of guys are quick to say, all right, I'm out of here, and at some point they're going to take a shot.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of them take some shots out there that, you have a 260-pound linebacker moving, that runs a 4.4 moving at full speed, hits this 195-pound quarterback. It just seems like those skinny, mobile, not a whole lot of beef on the bone quarterbacks, they take some pretty wicked shots and kind of makes them a little skittish.
They do. And sometimes it's one of those things. We had it there for a while with Derek Carr 2 years ago. He took that bad shot, and he just, that whole next season, he just wasn't the same. It's one of those things that you got these guys, sometimes they're a little quick to react. They want to, instead of letting a play develop, let's see if a receiver clears, if something opens up downfield, these guys do want to tuck the ball and run. I think a lot of that comes from their college days, though. College is, in my opinion, still to this day, I think college football is a lot faster paced game than the NFL is. NFL is a hard-hitting game, but when you get into that college games, you got a lot of speed in there. One of the things that we've seen over the past few years, too, is, now don't get me wrong, you still got some big boys out there playing, but you started to see some of these football teams go to some more hybrid-type players, some of these shorter-built, stocky guys in the backfield. A lot of these running backs aren't, they're not 6'5" anymore, 6'3" anymore. And they are. I mean, our rival, I don't like him, of course, but Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is that guy. He came out that first year, and what that guy was able to do in his rookie season was phenomenal, going downfield. But that Andy Reid had to be sitting there looking at this guy like, go down.
Just slide. Don't take a hit.
Don't take that hit. I mean, and I think that's what it is. These players are out there making millions of dollars to play this game, and you don't want to lose one of them in week 1, week 2, week 3. I mean, you want durability out of these guys.
All right, let me ask you one more question about the Niners Lions, and then I need your prediction. Dan Campbell, new quarterback or new coach of the Lions.
Right.
Love him. I've seen so many of his press conferences. He's fired up. Seems like a guy's guy. He doesn't really. I'm not going to do the whole politically correct thing. I'm going to tell you what's up.
Yep.
He's got apparently some sort of coffee addiction, that really gets him going. But how much can you take if you have a team here and you got this passive X's and O's? Here's what we're going to do, and we're going to execute. Execute, and then you've got another guy that is fire and brimstone, and guys, we're in this together, and this is a war, and that. How much do you take? How much is that worth? That fiery coach.
I guess that depends. Do your players believe it? You can be the biggest cheerleader in the world. You can drive them. One of the greatest coaches I've seen out there that does that is Tom Cable, and his players buy into it. And, these guys will bleed for him. You can be the cheerleader. You can be the coach. You can be the motivation and the power behind those speeches in the locker room. But can you take that energy from the locker room before you step on the field and really harness it in? And do your players believe in you? And I guess that's one of the biggest things is, do you stand behind what you're saying? We see what we see in press conferences, but when you're in the locker room and you're behind the scenes and you're in practice, is the same thing being portrayed to the players? So when they're getting ready to step on the field, is that same motivation and that same energy
Are we fired up and ready to go?
Right.
All right, makes sense. Who do you got? Niners, Lions?
I'm going to be honest with you. With the likes of Kittle and Samuel and Ayuk, I don't see the Lions doing anything. I'm going to go 49ers on this one, and I would say we're probably looking at 34-10.
And I think that's probably pretty accurate, which is sad. But you like Kittle, or do you like Darren Waller? Who's your guy if you had to pick one right now?
Waller. I think Waller.
I agree, and I might be you and I might be the only two in the country that think that, and Brandon Waller probably, and maybe Derek Carr.
Yeah, hopefully John Gruden.
Right, but I mean he's a wide receiver in a running back in a tight end's body.
Yeah.
He's got speed. He's got great hands. I think that's a great one.
Yeah.
All right, Bears and Rams. I think Rams are 7-point favorites on it.
They are.
The Bears just keep changes and making adjustments and bringing people in. They jumped up to get Trubisky.
Yep.
Now they've got Justin Fields. It looks like Andy Dalton is going to be the starter for now anyway. But really outside of that, I mean, the Bears haven't changed.
No.
They're still the same old Bears. With the Rams, you got Matthew Stafford now. He maybe have a little bit more weapons than he had when he was in Detroit.
Right.
But I don't know that it's a huge increase. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? The Rams still have Aaron Donald. So
this is the game right here that if I had to pick any of them for the week, I would say this is going to be the defensive game of the week. The Bears' defense is going to have to step up if they want to win. Their defense is going to have to play. I know they've made some changes on defense. They are projected to have a stronger defense this year than they have in the past. But is it going to be enough to go against Stafford? He still has some of that receiving core. He lost a couple of guys, but he's still able to get that ball downfield. As far as the running game, the
Rams have had some injuries at running back.
They have, absolutely. So my opinion is the Bears have a decent D. I don't think they're going to be able to stand up against Stafford and the receiving corps that they have right now. I just don't see it. I don't see the Bears being able to hang with them as it stands right now.
I agree. I just think it's hilarious that Matthew Stafford spent all those years in the NFC North. Mm-hmm. He gets traded, and his first game is against an NFC North team.
Yeah.
To me, I think the Rams walk all over the Bears on this one.
Yeah.
Now this one should be a great game. Browns at Chiefs.
Yes.
They've got it at 6 points. I could see it being a 2 or 3 point game or a 25-point game. It depends on what's going on. You'll have a hard time finding anybody who doesn't think that the Browns are one of the most talented teams.
Correct.
But good Lord, can you get it together and figure this out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the Browns 2 years ago and compare them to the Browns of last year, and now the Browns of this year. I mean, it's definitely they've grown. In that playoff game, they gave the Chiefs a struggle there. They came back in that second half, had the Chiefs on the ropes there for a bit. But is it enough? And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sold on Baker Mayfield at all.
Yeah,
I don't believe the guy is the key to your success. You go into this game here, and although I hate to say it because it's an AFC West competitor here, one of our rivals going into the Chiefs, I look at it and I say, at this point in time, the Chiefs are probably still one of the most dominant teams right now in the NFL. Haven't had a whole lot of loss between Mahomes, who's probably the best, if not one of the best quarterbacks currently in the league this year.
All right, I'll give him one of the best. He goes best again, though, Jeff. You cut him off.
There you go. Rodgers is there with him. I guess that's what he wants to do.
All right, we're good.
But you got Mahomes, you got, and we're probably looking, although Waller's our guy, we probably got the number one tight end in the league on that team as well with Kels. And some of the stuff that guy does is miraculous. I mean, his ability to get open when Mahomes needs him to be open. And then you got,
Tyreek Hill, and you got, they just have.
You basically got a running back, a tight end, and a receiver that you've got one guy in each of those positions right now that is just a key playmaker for you.
Yeah.
And Mahomes is a running back himself, so if he doesn't have somebody open downfield, his receivers know to drag their defensive cover man with them to give him room to run, and he's not afraid to run.
Yeah. So. They're a scary team. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to figure out what to do there. As long as Mahomes is taking snaps under center, I don't know that anybody's going to be able to do anything. Although,
the Raiders did last year. We handed them their losses. So
and Tampa Bay did. Didn't seem like it was too difficult either. So
no, it was. They're definitely the team to watch this year in the AFC. I would definitely.
And I like the Browns' defense, but there's just too many weapons on the other side that I don't know how you're ever going to be able to keep up.
Right, and some of the Browns' defense is new as well. Yeah. So, couldn't ask for a worse matchup for Week 1.
Yeah, hey, congratulations. Yeah. Just like when the Packers got when they moved to a 17 game, they said, all right, we're adding an extra game to everybody's schedule, and I went to see who it was, and it was for the Packers, and it was the Chiefs. Yeah. I'm like,
yep.
Couldn't we get Jacksonville?
The Browns?
Or somebody? Yeah, the Browns? Oh, maybe not. All right, we go into our final two games here, and then I'm going to do some rapid-fire stuff with you.
All right.
How are we doing on time, Jeff?
Let's see, you're at 28 minutes.
Oh, all right, so let's step it up here. We got Ravens at Raiders.
Raiders.
Okay, so next is So, I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
One here.
If the Raiders' defense is tough, though.
If the Raiders want to win, they're going to have to shut down the passing game. Bottom line. Mm-hmm. Our most difficult area on the field, and it has been for years. And sometimes I wish I could walk down on the field and talk to a coach and say, "Hey, look, man, can we learn how to cover 5 to 15 yards between the hash marks?" That's been our biggest problem. We can cover a man downfield, we can cover a guy deep, and we've gotten a lot better at stopping the run. But it seems like our defense is so committed to either we're going into this coverage or we're going into this coverage that we're going to leave the middle of the field open. We can't successfully do it all at once. Yeah. And we leave that 15-yard radius, hash mark to hash mark, open right behind our linebackers and in front of our secondary.
You got a stud offense. I mean, the offense between Jacobs and Darren Waller and Carr, I mean, just like we talked about the Chiefs, you got a stud tight end. You got a stud running back, and you got a stud quarterback.
Yeah, I look at it and I say, there's always a lot of talk about, is Carr the guy, is Carr the guy. But then you go back and, you look at the naysayers and you look at the statistics, and this isn't just me being a Raider fan, but I've looked at the stats, and he has some of the best stats in the league. And then you go back and you take a look. Ruggs came in with his rookie year last year. They're really predicting this guy to have his sophomore season as his kind of his breakout season. And then you've got Renfro and Edwards behind him. You've got Waller in there, and then it's going to be awesome this year to have that second key back that you can go to. We've had Jalen Richard, but now you're going to have Jacobs, Drake, and Richard in there. So, you're going to have quite a few guys that you can go to. You're going to constantly be able to have fresh legs on the field. I think that could be key.
So, what do you got?
I got Raiders 24-20.
I think it'll be a fun game. I really think that the Raiders are a better team than they were. Again, if Darren Waller takes another step up, he could easily be tight end number 1 this year, I think. And Jacobs, I'm just a huge Jacobs fan. So,
and it is at home inside the Death Star, so I'll be at the game.
Monday Night Football. Yeah, you're going to be there.
I'll be there.
All right. If we see this giant guy run out on the field and tell them 5 to 15, hash mark, then we know.
Yeah, we will be there.
We know that somebody probably needs to go bail Matt Curtis out of Vegas jail. All right, and then we have the Cardinals game. Cardinals are facing off. They're heading over to Tennessee to see the Titans. Man, I would not want to face Derrick Henry first game out of the chute. Talk about a load to bring down. That's tough. I don't know. Are you a Kyler Murray fan?
I like Kyler Murray. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the guy's got some speed. I think there's been a lot of hype about him. Mm-hmm. I think that they've kind of thrown this guy that he's the greatest quarterback out there right now. I don't think that. I think that he has a lot of stuff that he still needs to work on. Staying under control, protecting the ball a little bit better. Had some turnover things, but I do like him. I think that he could be a key. One of the things I'm seeing is as a key right now, though, to this game is Arizona's defense going to be able to control Henry?
Didn't look like too many people controlled him last year, so I don't know if that's going to happen. They did add J.J. Watt.
They did.
Which is a huge boost for sure. I thought he was coming to Green Bay, but I was wrong on that one. They also added, on Tennessee side, they added, on Arizona side, DeAndre Hopkins and A.J. Green.
Right.
A.J. Green in the preseason looked like he was 10 years younger and ready to go. So
that's where it's going to come down to Tannehill.
Yeah. Is he going to find those guys?
Is he going to find the guys that he needs to find? And is Murray going to find the guys that he needs to be finding? Have they had enough time together to gel?
And is Tannehill going to be able to get that off before J.J. Watt's in this throw?
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you got? The line is Titans by 3.
Yeah, this one here, this was one of my toughest ones right here. And Tannehill's on the COVID list right now. So you're hoping, you're still looking another week and a half away. So you're hoping he's off the COVID list, but he's currently on the COVID list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on this one, just because I think that Kyler Murray, and if he's hitting that receiver squad, they could pull something off here. So although it is in Tennessee, but I'm gonna go Cardinals. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I would say 2017.
Okay, I'm going the other way. I think Derrick Henry, until he falters, he's the guy, and I'm going to go that Derrick Henry runs over the Cardinals, and I'd say it's a 10-point game. We'll see. All right, I'm going to fire some at you real quick. You got 6 games left. I'm going to fire them at you. Just give me a prediction. Bengals, Vikings.
Vikings, 30-24.
Jags, Texans. Now remember,
all this depends on Watson.
I was going to say, we don't know who that quarterback's going to be.
Where Watson going to be, and who's throwing the ball to Randall Cobbs. So, in a perfect world here, if Watson doesn't go anywhere and he's got Cobbs out there, I would say we're looking Texans, and the score on that one.
No, Randall Cobbs with Pat.
Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, not Cobbs.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The others.
Yeah.
Guy burner down the field.
Came from Rams.
Cup.
No, not Cup. Cook.
Okay. Jets at Panthers.
This one here, Panthers.
Does anybody care?
I don't think, and no one's going to stop McCaffrey right now as long as he stays healthy.
I hope he. Has he played in the preseason?
No.
Yeah, I hope he just bounces right back.
Actually, you know what? He did. He was in for the first series of the very first game.
He was so much fun to watch when he was healthy. Eagles at Falcons.
I'm going to go with the Falcons on this one for no other reason than I'm just giving them home field advantage.
All right, fair enough. Broncos Giants.
This one here, you got Barkley, you got Tony, and Galladay that are not healthy right now. You don't know what's going to happen. I go Broncos.
Saquon, you don't think is healthy?
They're saying he's not right now. They're saying that he's still indecisive, and now whether they're just saying that so that they don't have to say they're playing him yet. Mm-hmm. But I'd go Broncos on this one.
All right, last one. Dolphins Patriots.
This one here, I'm gonna be honest, man. This is one of the hardest picks. Cam is gone, and Mac Jones is in at quarterback.
Matt Jones.
How's he gonna do if he steps up and he plays like we know he can? They could be the guys. But Dolphins have a running game right now. But if I had to pick it, I would go Patriots. Give them the home field.
And is it Tua? Is that who's going to be starting for the Dolphins?
Yeah.
All right, so you got Tua, a second-year player, against Mac Jones.
And Gaskin.
It seems like a pretty interesting game.
Yeah.
I think that I would take Bill Belichick game plan against a young quarterback like that every time.
Especially at home.
All right, make sure you check out our game picks. Get your entrance filled out, drop it off at Anderson, or drop it off here at the newspaper before Thursday. And I think we said 3 o'clock. You'll see it in the newspaper. And then make sure you tune in every week and see how we do. All right, man. I appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Taking care of it. I appreciate Anderson. Remember, this is brought to you by Anderson Ford of Bullhead City. So we want to thank you guys for that. And I hope everyone enjoys football.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see everyone.